Men's sex. 1. Sex tips for men, how to have a better sex life. 2. Sex drive killers, the causes of low libido. 1. Sex tips for men, how to have a better sex life. 1. Was it good for you? In the movies, sex always looks great. But if you're like a lot of men, sex may not be as good as you think it could be. You might feel anxiety, concerns about your performance, or even self-consciousness about your body. No matter what the scenario, it just feels like you're not having sex as often as everyone else. 2. How's your sex life? An Ohio State University study found young men think about sex about 19 times per day, as compared to young women who think about it 10 times daily. Despite it being on men's minds much of the time, men still remain confused about what great sex is, and how to have it. Men face both mental barriers and physical barriers to great sex. They may be plagued with self-doubt, and cling to myths and misperceptions about sex. Physically, many men could use some work on the mechanics of lovemaking. 3. What is great sex? Great sex is in the eye of the beholder, or the behander, says Patty Britton, a clinical sexologist and author of The Art of Sex Coaching. For some men, it might be the ability to produce fantabulous multiple orgasms in their partner. For other men, it might mean being able to last 3 minutes. Being a great lover means becoming a great lover to your particular partner, and that requires doing something very difficult, opening your mouth. Men may talk a good game when it comes to sex, but most don't think the sex they have is as good as it could be. The following slides are a guide to great sex, with 6 tips for more sexual pleasure. 4. Great sex tip 1, take up pillow talk. Pillow talk is important. Aside from kissing and other sexual activities, men can use their mouths for talking to their partner about what they want, and what their partner likes. It's about being open and trusting. If you get to know yourself and your partner, you'll have a much more erotic and explosive sexual relationship, says Joy Davidson, a New York-based psychologist and sexologist, and the author of Fearless Sex. 5. Great sex tip 2, don't believe locker room talk. Men may brag to friends and exaggerate the frequency of their sexual activity, but unlike women, men are less likely to talk about insecurities they have surrounding sex. The result is that men create distorted pictures of sexual frequency and prowess for themselves and one another. According to Michael Castleman, a San Francisco-based sex expert and author of Great Sex, A Man's Guide to the Secret Principles of Total Body Sex, the average frequency of sex in committed long-term relationships is roughly once every 10 days. A lot of men wind up thinking that their sex life is missing something, that other men are having wilder sex or more frequent sex, Davidson says. They have a sense that the pleasure ship has sailed and left them behind. 6. Great sex tip 3, don't compare your sex life with porn. Unfortunately, men may learn a lot of what they know about sex from pornography. The problem with that is women and men who appear in porn are often in great physical shape. Both women and men are well endowed, which can create unrealistic expectations. One of the most destructive myths of porn is that it convinces so many guys that they're too small, Castleman says. They forget that pornography is self-selecting. These are not average men. They're the extreme end of the scale. Other myths men may learn from pornography include the ideas that women are always ready for sex, that the same moves work on every partner all the time, and that sex always ends in orgasm. Porn isn't all bad. It can give men ideas for sexual exploration and fun scenarios to enjoy with their partners, with the caveat, as long as you're aware that it's not reality, Castleman says. It's like watching a car chase in an action movie. It's exciting. It's entertaining. But everyone knows it's not the way to drive. 7. Great sex tip 4, focus on pleasurable sensations. Stress, anxiety, and distractions can lead to less satisfying sex. Leave the stress of the job at work, and minimize your anxiety about your performance. If we can quiet our monkey minds, put a stop to that ceaseless inner chatter, we can open ourselves up to better sex, Britton says. She recommends that men adopt a mantra, FOPS, or focus on pleasurable sensations. There are techniques ranging from eye gazing to massage and synchronized breathing that help keep you in the moment, Britton says. Great sex happens in the present. It doesn't happen in the future, like worrying about how quickly you are going to come. 8 Great Sex Tip 5. Focus less on size and more on other matters. When it comes to penis size, men always hear that size doesn't matter to women. While this may be the case for most, it's not so much about having the biggest penis as it is fitting with your partner. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't matter, Davidson says. There are plenty of women for whom it absolutely does. But I prefer to focus on the idea of the right fit. People come in all shapes and sizes and some fit better with each other. For many women, average-sized men are the best fit. This is usually a matter of personal preference. However, it's not something to get caught up in and worry about. Focus on foreplay. Kissing, caressing, and other ways of giving pleasure can lead to satisfying sex for men and women of all shapes and sizes. Don't forget to talk to your partner, too. A lot of women are very responsive to a man's voice during lovemaking, Davidson says. If a man has verbal facility and can entice a woman through his voice, that can become a powerful part of his repertoire. 9 Great Sex Tip 6. Schedule sex, really. It may sound mundane to schedule sex, but it can actually make it more relaxing with both partners having more realistic expectations. There's this powerful mythology that says you should fall into each other's arms spontaneously, with string music playing and the sun setting in the west, and if that doesn't happen there's something wrong with you, Castleman says. Nonsense. Real life doesn't work that way. Scheduling sex can also eliminate conflict over desire differences and remove the pressure to perform. People say, "What if I'm not in the mood?" Well, one of the things about relationships is that you sometimes make compromises. But what astonishes people once they start scheduling sex is that they can actually enjoy it, says Castleman. Sex drive killers, the causes of low libido. 10 Sex drive killer, stress. The body does not react well to stress. Emotional stress may affect physical function, including sexual desire and performance. Realizing what underlying stressors may exist is the first step in treatment. Self-help may work, but some people may need to visit a counselor or doctor. 11 Sex drive killer, partner. Sexual desire requires two to tango. Both partners need to feel connected, and women especially need the feeling of being close. Poor communications, a sense of betrayal, lack of trust, and repeated fighting and criticism may create a relationship that lacks closeness and intimacy. Counseling may be the answer if couples find that the issues are too tough to resolve on their own. 12 Sex drive killer, alcohol. Alcohol is usually not the answer to any problem. While alcohol may decrease inhibitions, it also decreases sexual performance and libido. Your partner may not appreciate a drunk in advance and may be turned off by it. Alcohol is an addictive drug and you may need help to quit. 13 Sex drive killer, too little sleep. As with any physical activity, a rested body increases performance. Lack of sleep, including lack of proper sleep, may be the culprit that decreases sex drive. Sleep apnea is a potential cause for lack of good sleep and lack of libido. Medical help may be needed if you or your partner suspect it. 14 Sex drive killer, having kids. Being a parent is a full-time job and you need to carve out time without a child or baby around. Planning quiet time for intimacy and sexual desire may require some creative thinking, like having sex when the baby naps, or hiring a babysitter so mom and dad can have a play date. 15 Sex drive killer, medication. Side effects of many prescription medications include loss of libido and sex drive. Some examples include high blood pressure medications including water pills and beta blockers. Cold medications that contain antihistamines and decongestants. Antidepressants. Birth control pills. Narcotic pain pills. Chemotherapy drugs. If this is the cause, your doctor may be able to suggest a medication alternative that might have fewer side effects. 16 Sex drive killer, poor body image. Sexy is as sexy feels. Many people have low self-esteem when it comes to their body shape, and this can affect their sex drive and desire. Being happy with yourself is an important first step. A supportive partner always helps. 17 Sex drive killer, obesity. Obesity affects 1/3 of all Americans, and being overweight can limit desire because of decreased sexual enjoyment, lack of performance, and poor self-esteem. How you feel about yourself goes a long way in affecting how you enjoy sex. Counseling may be helpful. 18 Sex drive killer, erection problems. Erectile dysfunction, ED, can not only affect the ability to have intercourse but also how a man feels about his ability to perform. There are many options available to treat ED, and your doctor can help find the option that is best for you and your partner. 19 Sex drive killer, low T. While a man's testosterone level gradually falls with aging, there is not necessarily any relationship between hormone levels and the desire for sex. It is just one potential cause for decreased libido, and your doctor may want to look for other causes in addition to just low testosterone, low T. 20 Sex drive killer, depression. Depression affects all facets of life, including sex drive. Losing pleasure in daily activities often requires treatment, including counseling and perhaps medication. Unfortunately, some antidepressants also depress libido. Your doctor and therapist need to know if low sex drive is one of your symptoms of depression. 21 Sex drive killer, menopause. Menopause may cause physical changes that affect intercourse, including vaginal dryness and pain with intercourse, dyspareunia. Treatments are available to enhance sexual desire and function after menopause. 22 Sex drive killer, lack of closeness. Making love is more than just sex. Intimacy and closeness are an important part of a healthy love life. If sexual desire is waning, it may be time to inject romance back into the relationship. Snuggling, giving each other massages, and spending casual time together may help ignite that spark. What food